Hi everyone, the Mature Simmer here. So we have some big news this morning. There's a free content update which is now available. So you can see in the blog here from Farming Simulator, they're talking about that. I'm going to skim through this because there's a lot here and I want to get to what they fixed rather than read it word for word. But basically they're bringing new equipment in. So they talked about 16 new machines, which they had released fact sheets for earlier. So if you had not seen them, there's a self-propelled liquid manure processor here, along with a slurry distributor, which is the item there on the back, which looks like, if you are using slurry or manure, will be helpful to you. And there's a big pack baler, which does square bales of varying sizes. Kongsskild mowers, so a front and a back mower implement that has pretty significant working width at 12.3 meters on the back and 3.5 on the front, so it looks like it hangs off to the side. So about 16 meters of working width on a mower. And then a trailer that takes 6 cows, 13 pigs, 13 sheep from Flegel. And they had added a Landini tractor that is kind of on the border between small and large, or small and medium. Looking at the picture, I'd say it's probably going to be listed in medium, especially with the horsepower rating. And then a Samash snowplow, or really a snow blower, 2.5 meters, so that could have some cool animation depending how that's done. And something people have been waiting for a long time, the K-Squad tracks. So that brings back the large tracked trailer that people have been harping about, and then an additional water tank of a little over 6,000 liters to give you some options there. Now there aren't quite 16 items there, so there's some other machines that potentially haven't been listed, like we didn't see a Kuhn and so forth. So there seem to be other things that are there, but then the chains logs are the most important item that I've certainly seen. So they've adjusted contract vehicles as some had wrong tools for the job at hand. So I'm hopeful that the issues I was running in on Elm Creek, where I took a contract to sow cotton and then ended up getting a planter or a seeder that couldn't plant cotton, that will be solved. Adjust prices for used vehicle sale. I'll be curious to see what happens there, if they've gone up or down. Repair costs have been changed. Ridge markers on seeders do not dig up stones anymore. I hadn't run into that myself, but I don't use ridge markers a lot. Changed display of day numbers. I'm not sure what that means. I know if you run seasons with multiple days, it will, for example, if you went to 3 days, I think it was the 1st, the 11th, and the 21st, which seemed to make sense, but I'm not quite sure, what that encompasses. Price fluctuations display, so that it shows an actual history of the prices. So there have definitely been reports about basically ignore the price fluctuations because they don't operate properly. AI workers couldn't use plows correctly. Leased machinery for a contract would disappear once accepted. Again, there was a contract issue I'd run into where I accepted harvesting contracts and borrowed the items and it never appeared. So I'm hoping that was taken care of. Picking up objects as a client in multiplayer would crash the game. Custom season length would cause weather issues, or it would never stop raining or snowing. Some contracts couldn't be finished. AI workers would continuously get paid when the game was paused. Certain GPUs, the game wouldn't start at all. Some of the graphics settings DLSS would result in ghosting artifacts. Supported cards might get a black screen. The big bag lifter was causing a freeze or a crash. Vehicles would get duplicated when reset. Animals were running around when they shouldn't be. The map filter overlays display needs plowing and needs lime. So if you recall, every time I looked at the map in that particular filter, I would always have to just turn off plowing and lime. I'm hoping that that means it's not everywhere within the game again. Income of placeables to be consistent, so it's shown as income per month. Bunker silos sometimes would get things stuck in the edges. I've seen that happen. Loan interest rates over a year. Manure heap extension work as expected. Fix the reset of collectibles after they had all been collected, so I'm assuming that meant you would be able to kind of recollect them. Again, I had not run into that. There was a problem with a pipe unloading effect, seed usage with grass, sell point price fluctuations, fields and field numbers on the Elm Creek map. Oh, that'll be interesting because I've certainly kind of gotten used to where things are at, but the rear paddle buttons were not being properly bound on an Xbox on a Logitech steering wheel. Fix tree growth to be the same regardless of month. Various issues with manual shifted tractors. Combine headers on terrain. Cotton bale loading, driving behavior, pallet handling and performance. That's good because I'm hoping that means they won't get stuck in the ground as often like I had with my honey. Better help text. AI worker costs decreased, so that's good for balancing. And then bale unloads. So new things that they added. You're able to enlarge the mod hub screenshots when viewing details. Remove buildings on all 4 farms of the Elm Creek map. AI support for reverse driving tractors. Mobile home placeable. Old barn placeable. Option for free placement of placeables. You can increase your fuel usage. You can do a better job with vines and olives so that they snap in parallel. That should be good. Yield potential and weed removing tool recommendation on the field info, so they're giving us a little more info there. And in Erlengroth, the license plate is fully customizable. And then foliage flicker, again, I've seen that on some other videos that folks have made. Random crashes when hiring an AI worker, cut down trees, exploding and bizarre graphical glitches. That sounds interesting. I don't play on Xbox, but it looks like when you're pressing the A button while playing on an Xbox, you can't get in the vehicle shop, and that sometimes you couldn't save. And then contract bonus yield is too high. Enjoy it while it lasts. So I'm wondering if these are things, known issues, are things they didn't fix, because that last one is confusing. So I'll go ahead and pop into the game and take a look at the 2 or 3 items that are easily viewable. And we'll see what we see, and then we'll wrap this up. So I've popped back in on one of the Elm Creek games I'm looking at. So the first piece would obviously be seeing some of the new tractors, or the new equipment. So let's see if we can pick up the new, there was a new tractor. I thought it would be, probably in medium. So yeah, that's the new Landini, I believe. Yeah, there's not any other one there, so if we take a look at that, you can set it up 225, a 210, and a 190 horsepower. So it gives you a few options there. Most importantly, the quad track will be nice to see. So There it is. Nice. I believe that's an addition as well. So this should be similar to what we're used to. Yeah, you can do a 692, a 647, a 613, a 558, and a 524 are your various options. It looks like anything other than the base setup also has an increased fuel capacity. So if you're interested in that, those are available. And then the used equipment pricing is probably the only other thing that's easily visible. Not sure. It may have adjusted a bit. I definitely remember seeing things in this percentage range discount. So it's kind of a quick look at some of the things that would be obvious. Alright, so needs plowing, needs lime. So we can see our field does need plowing. It needs rolling. Does it need lime? It does. But at least it's not overlaying the entire map. So yeah, so definitely the filter now is better than it was before, because it doesn't color the entire screen as it did before. So that's helpful. The only other piece is changing the field numbers. I'm just quickly scanning. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe one or two fields that were switched on the Elm Creek map. I just don't offhand see any that I know of, because I know that there are, I know many of them, and they all appear to be the same numbers they were before. So I'm not sure what that change is. I'm not seeing it offhand. So hopefully that gives you some things to look forward to. I definitely encourage you to download it and play with it and see if your gameplay has improved. I'm certainly looking forward to it. I'll talk to you next time.